Well, with about 7 weeks to the much anticipated elections, civil society groups in Nigeria have raised an alarm over the rise in political violence around the country. According to them, the political atmosphere in the country is particularly getting heated up following targeted attacks on convoys of political figures, with the major actors engaging in verbal attacks and character assassination. Also, cases of electoral violence have been recorded at campaign rallies of the PDP and APC, with used as drivers. Now, how are the CSOs working with INEC, security agencies and other institutions to ensure that the trend is reversed? Well, we can speak with one of the organizations working tirelessly to ensure that the 2023 polls is free, fair and credible. I'm now delighted to be joined in the studio by Hamzat Lawal, who's the Chief Executive of Connected Development, and he will tell us more about this. Thank you so much, Hamzat. Now, let's talk about why there's this enthusiasm by Nigerians for the 2023 polls, and sometimes we see it getting into political violence. You know, certain people now allowing other parties to come and campaign in their areas. And what have you been doing with INEC to help reduce this? Because especially youths are involved in some of this.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an exciting period for our political history. And we know that it's really sad and unfortunate that some politicians do not want to play fair game, you know, where they're trying to stiffen the voices and suppress their opposition. And this is not what politics or democracy is all about. But interestingly, with INEC and security agencies, we've been collaborating, sharing notes. Every quarter, the chairman of INEC sits with civil society leaders. We give feedback. We inform, their mandates and their role. And with security agencies also, you know, I've had series of meetings sharing our intelligence on the ground. You know, we have over 30,000 young people that work for Connected Development via our Follow the Money platform, and they're collecting information. And for us, we've already started observing elections, because you see, election observation does not start on the day of election. Because violence, and you talk about violence, and of course we've experienced series of violence, and even attack on the media in this whole campaign trade. So for us, we've been documenting some of these incidents, because before violence erupt, usually it is just immediately after election, that's high-scale violence, when the results are trickling down. That's where you see high-scale violence across the country. So for us, we're looking at what are those incidents that might trigger violence? How are politicians responding? What are those words they're using that are inciting young people? And what's also the role of substance abuse? And I'm really excited about what NDLEA is doing, particularly around, you know, clamping down on people who are trafficking substance abuse, because most of the people who use substance abuse, sadly in Nigeria, are young people. And when you look at political violence, it's tied to substance abuse, so and most politicians are the ones investing in it. Yes, so we're collaborating and harnessing, you know, our resources around engaging with INEC, with the security agencies, and also collaborating with other civil society, so we don't duplicate efforts and we don't work in silos. Now,
there's been a lot of enthusiasm among young people. When you go on social media, you see them displaying their PVCs and so on, but there's still a lot of uncollected PVC. I mean, if you see the distribution, it's like the southwest of the country, you see the southeast of the country, people are not still collecting their PVC so much. What do we do as CSOs who are involved? How do you engage people to know that they should not be afraid of election violence, so that they don't go and collect their PVCs and all of that? What will you do to encourage them to go and collect their PVCs to vote? Because I've heard some people saying that, look, I mean, if there will be fight on election day, why do I need to go and get my PVC?
Yes, you know, as we go and as we continue, it's important to ensure that there's guarantee of life and property, safety of lives and property, even including that of INEC. And even the chairman of INEC have said, you know, the security agencies must guarantee that when he deploys his ad hoc staff and when sensitive materials are being moved, they're being protected. I'm excited that Yes Project, which I sit on their board, are now mobilizing and galvanizing on the ground, you know, doing a lot of rallies and hosting picnics, you know, engaging young people in markets, in public places where you mostly find young people, you know. And during the festive period, what we did was engage in different meetings at the grassroots, telling people about the importance of collection of PVC, using local language. You're working with different age grades across the country. But one gap is how INEC is able to respond. See, we've gotten feedback and reports where people go to a particular local government, INEC office in the local, and they say, oh, your PVC is not ready. I think what INEC needs to do, and INEC, yes, has embraced technology, you know, with beavers, What they need to do is to go 360. And what do I mean? Today, every young person have a smartphone. Before now, we queue up in the bank just to do transaction. But when your ATM is expired, the bank sends you an SMS. When the new one is ready, you get an SMS saying it's ready, pick it up at this point. I think INEC, and they have our data, they have our emails and our phone numbers. They need to send SMSs and say, your PVC is not ready, or it is ready, go to this particular location at this particular time. So we don't also deal with congestion. And so when people go, they get to collect their PVC. I've seen people who have traveled back and forth more than twice, saying, oh, we've gone twice, and it's not encouraging. Yes, so what INEC needs to do is work with telecommunication companies, send bulk SMSs. And when people go on their platform, or when they call their service number, someone should direct them and say, oh, no, it's not ready. Someone who have access to the data, it's not ready. Oh, it's ready, go and collect it. Because what's important is we as civil society are working to ensure that we can overcome voter apathy. At least let's get over 90% of people to collect their PVC. But most importantly, come out on election day and cast their ballot.
Well, we don't have enough time left, but within the few minutes left, I want to ask you what you've been hearing from the presidential candidates and, of course, other governorship, senatorial, and House of Rep candidates. Have you heard of any message that gives you some sort of hope that this country can actually overcome the challenges of nationhood and will go into election and come out stronger? What sort of message have you been hearing from all the political parties and their candidates?
As a civil society leader, I'm optimistic and I'm hopeful that as we go into 2023 and as we hear all these campaign messages and also review their policy statements, their manifesto and their commitment to delivering on the dividends of democracy to Nigerian people, I'm optimistic. Yes, these people have the capacity. Yes, they have the competence. I have some questionable character of some of these candidates. But as we go closer to the poll, what's important is not even what my takes are. What are the takes of the Nigerian people, particularly women and young people? And what are these candidates giving women and young people? And what would they deliver to them? Because see, for me, I want to see people in government that look like you and I. More younger people. Yes, we have older people on the ballots. But what are they saying will be the role of young people and women in terms of informing their governance, informing their policy delivery? So this is something that is not clear. I've had 40%, I've had 50%, I've had we're going to take this country and hand it over to young people. What does that mean exactly?
Well, it needs to be explained further by the candidates, and we hope that many of them will continue to attend town hall meetings, debates, group meetings here and there, and of course connect with people like you who are in the CSOs to help, deliver the message to the grassroots. But we must thank you so much for helping us understand some of these issues and how to prevent pre-election and then post-election violence. Thank you so much. Hamzat Lawal is the Chief Executive of Connected Development, and we must thank you immensely for being on the program with us. Well, that's how it's been for this edition of Arise Primetime. Do join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Somna Sambo.